Mate, I was getting paid by 2 clubs at one point.
Hey, question for you, actually, speaking while we're on the NBA, because there was one question on an NBA sort of podcast that popped up, and it was to Anthony Davis, and it was about how do NBA players get paid? So, like, because obviously they're on these big contracts, do they get paid like regular people? Like, is it monthly or whatever? And for us,
It's a really random question to ask.
yeah, it's sort of like, do they just get a lump sum of cash or like whatever? So apparently they can do it in like a 6-month increment or 12 months.
Really?
Yeah.
So they get a big wad.
Like in that 6 months, like during the season. So you get paid during the season, or you get paid for the whole year, which I would definitely take the whole year.
Oh, yeah, I get you. Yeah.
How do you get paid as an AFL?
So
player?
you're monthly. I don't know if it's changed since, but you're monthly.
Yeah, it's monthly.
And that's over 12 months. So you get paid in the off season, and your contract's broken down over 12 months. A lot of players who have managers, and especially younger players coming into the competition, to put on like a budget from their manager.
So the manager puts them on the budget?
Yeah, most of the time, yeah. They'll put them like, say, you can have this much per week or whatever it is. This is what you should spend per week, and then all that sort of stuff, which I don't agree with, because you got to manage your own money. You got to grow up at some point.
Yeah.
18. I think when you're 18 years old, you know.
We should know.
What you should or shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's obviously people that get themselves in a bit of trouble. But
is that just like as in it's a guideline? Like here's a budget for you.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is sort of a guide, but some are like pretty strict on it as well.
Yeah.
So, it's a monthly thing, and then some guys have like, obviously throughout that contract, if you're on a base salary, just purely base, no match payments or anything like that, it just goes straight in. But then if you play matches, you get
bonuses.
each month, and all that sort of stuff. So,
and how does it work? Like, were you ever on a front loaded or back loaded contract?
mate, I was getting paid by 2 clubs at one point.
Were you? What's that like? So just like the same day?
Paychecks.
Is it the same day for every player in the AFL?
Yeah, it's like the
Sort of like pensioners' day.
So it's like the first day that's like a weekday of each month. You get paid. And when I went to the Giants, part of the deal was Collingwood had to pay a bit of my salary. So I was getting 2 paychecks for, I think it was the first 3 years
Yeah.
of my contract, which is a bit weird. And I think Adam Treloar was getting
Like 3 people.
Yeah. He had a
Grundy
couple.
must be.
Grundy, I think Grundy's the other one.
Yeah.
He was, I don't know where his money's coming from.
And so, yeah, because I was going to say, like, it must be weird for the front-ended or back-ended contracts where, like, 1 year you're earning, like, $2 million and then the next year you're on, like, 500,000. So,
Well, it's the Luke Ball theory. For us to get Luke Ball, Melbourne had the pick before and they were keen. Ball said he wanted Collingwood, but if he nominates a contract and if Melbourne happy to take that, then they just take it. So we nominated Bally, I think it was
like $1 million, wasn't it?
$1 million for 2 years. First 2 years of his contract, so 500 a year. Wasn't worth that. Like, always injured, average player.
Oh, he's pretty good, Paulie.
No, he was a shovel, mate. Just shoveling it to us.
Paulie was a gun.
And so he was $1 million over 2 years. So Melbourne were like, nah, we don't want that. And then, so as soon as we drafted him, we signed a 3-year deal. And part of that 3-year deal, I think he was on like 150 grand in the third year. So it actually reduces
sort of
it down.
Worked it out. Yeah, gotcha.
So that's where you can be a little bit sneaky if you really want to. But yeah, like sometimes it even gets to a point where clubs are under the salary cap or they've got money left in the salary cap by the end of the year through match payments or whatever it is. And they will go to players and say, we've got 200 grand that we need to spend. We'll give this to you before the end of the year, before that contract finishes, which your contracts are in October.
Yeah.
We'll give you 200 grand into this year and we'll take it off next year's. So we can spend that next year. Getting another player or whatever.
And so you just have to agree to that term sort of thing?
Yeah. Well, you don't have to, but it's like, it's still getting the same amount of money, but it's like, if they don't move that 200 grand anywhere, that disappears. So that's never, you can't spend that ever again. So some players, it's like in the last month, they're like, all right, you might get extra, like 100 grand, but it comes off next year's, which is dangerous when you're going into an off season. 200 grand, that might...
Jeez, that's a big month.
Yeah, that's...
I only had the one disposal.
Sorry, do I get that 200 back?
Yeah.
Why? Spent it in Vegas.
Yeah.
But that's sort of how the salary caps. You can sort of complicate some things around that and make sure you maximise, because you have to. And I think someone came out during the week and said, why do we have to pay a minimum of the salary cap? Why should we? Like teams down the bottom like North Melbourne, they obviously don't have the best players, so they shouldn't be paying the full amount of the salary cap like everyone else. Like compared to Sydney Swans, compared to North Melbourne, you have to pay a minimum of 95%, I think it is, of the salary.
Yeah, that's right.
So even if
you're a bad player, you're still going to get paid.
Yeah, even if Sydney are paying 100% and they're paying 95%, there's not much difference there. So it doesn't make a lot of sense in that regard. But I suppose it helps sort of we're trying to keep the game as even.
And you want to keep players at the club too, like
you don't want them all disappearing.
Because then you've got the issue with like clubs screwing over players and be like, we're not going to give you anything.
Yeah,
here's 50K.
Yeah, where are you going to go?
What about tax time? Can you deduct anything?
Sunscreen.
That's literally it.
Well, you get everything for free.
Yeah, that's right.
Like literally, what am I going to?
So if you claim anything, there's
I'm going to claim like runners and footy boots. I don't pay for it.
Yeah.
When we travel, like accommodation's paid for,
food's paid for,
food's there.
Everything.
Like when we go to the club, like all the same, mate, you can maybe claim your like Foxtel. Yeah. Watching footy, but there's not a hell of a lot, and obviously taxed at a fair rate too. So that's where you obviously get a bit adventurous as well. But that's where you need a good accountant, semi dodgy,
semi-dodgy.
more preferred, semi dodgy.
Name him. No, don't.
Not mine.
Everything's above board.
You win some, you lose more. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.